Good morning everyone. The experiment we are going to perform today is aeration of water and wastewater, and our main objective behind performing this experiment is to calculate the mass transfer coefficient, that is known as KLA. Why aeration is important for us is because we need a required amount of dissolved oxygen in our wastewater so that the microorganisms are able to disintegrate it successfully. So for that we require a certain amount of dissolved oxygen already present in the wastewater, and how we can accomplish that is by using aeration. So where does this mass transfer coefficient take place is because oxygen is not a readily dissoluble gas in liquid. So for that a theory that explains this concept is the two-film theory, in which there are two phases, that is the bulk gas phase and the bulk liquid phase, which is separated by two films, that is the gas film and the liquid film. So what happens with a gas like oxygen is that it is not readily dissoluble in the liquid. So the rate limiting step becomes when the oxygen molecule has to pass through the liquid film. That is the rate limiting step. To overcome that, we use mechanical aerators. So in this experiment, we have used mechanical aerators for aerating both tap water as well as wastewater. Then we have calculated the dissolved oxygen levels in both of these water samples at different time intervals, and then after taking the DO values at different time intervals, we have plotted a graph and we have calculated the mass transfer coefficient.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Now our next practical is to find out the oxygen transfer coefficient KLA from the experiment. In that we are assuming the oxygen transfer rate as 0.5 kgO2 per hour, which is given by the standards for the mechanical aerator. Next, initially we have two samples, one is tap water and one is wastewater, and we have measured the initial dissolved oxygen for both. One is tap water and wastewater. For the tap water, we are getting the 7.7 mg per liter of initial dissolved oxygen, and for wastewater, as we got the white precipitation, so there is no dissolved oxygen present in the wastewater. Now, first step is to deoxygenize the water and wastewater. In tap water, we have 7.7 mg per liter dissolved oxygen. So we deionize by adding the sodium sulfite in that. And for wastewater, we don't need any sodium sulfite. So, and then after that, after measuring the initial dissolved oxygen of both, we have started the our aerator. You can see. Now 30 minutes completed, so we have taken 300 ml sample from the bucket, and after that we will doing the dissolved oxygen measurement.
So for the DO measurement, we are going to add 1 ml of MnSO4 and now we are adding 1 ml of alkali iodide azide.
When you
After the addition of alkali iodide azide, as we can see, a precipitate has formed. So we will allow the precipitate to settle, and after it has settled, we will add H2SO4. Now we are going to add 1 ml of H2SO4 to dissolve the precipitate.
For example, suppose you want to technical university in India. So why you want to for example, roll number 49. 46. Yes, sir. Your problem.
After the precipitate is dissolved, we will then titrate it against sodium thiosulfate to find out the. After taking 200 ml of sample in a conical flask, we are now going to add starch indicator. After adding 2 to 3 drops of starch indicator, we can see the color change. And now we titrate it against sodium thiosulfate until the color disappears. We can see till the solution turns colorless, and then we will note the volume of sodium thiosulfate that was consumed.
Now comes to the last part of this practical, environmental significance. We can compare the aeration coefficient between water and wastewater. We can predict actual oxygen requirement in wastewater treatment process. We can predict the dissolved oxygen content in different aquatic ecosystems. Aeration coefficient also offers fine-tune oxygen concentration in optimizing process of bioreactors. Thanks a lot.